So, normal people, just like you, sitting there scrolling on your phone at 3 a.m., are actually making money right now on YouTube in 2026. And now I get it. You probably don't believe me. And honestly, most of the time when people don't believe that this is real, it doesn't really bother me that much. Like, I've seen it enough times. I know what's possible. I know what's not. I can totally sleep at night. But I got this comment from Holt Sauce on my last video, and I don't really know why, but it kind of genuinely made me sad. Not him in particular, but just like the comment itself. I'm not trying to be defensive or need to prove something. I wish I could change the way that you guys think about this entire thing, because I could feel that this person actually wants this to be real, right? But they just couldn't really let themselves believe it yet. And a lot of you guys that are watching right now might be thinking the same exact thing and just really haven't said it out loud. But let me read this comment to you word for word. My number one concern with this type of make money online thing isn't it being fake or even conflicting with my faith. It's just that if it's so foolproof, why isn't everyone doing it? Are people just too lazy to follow through? Is it luck based? Do you need some kind of large starting capital or experience that prevents people from getting a foot in the door? This sort of thing always sets off the too good to be true sensors, which isn't to say that you and your wife haven't had an amazing success and are blessed to do this, but it feels extremely unlikely that my wife and I could also do that. I think it's that last part that really hits me, right? The last part of like, oh, my wife and I don't think we could actually do that, but you guys are blessed. It's 100% fair to ask these kinds of questions and to leave this type of comment on a YouTube video. I mean, we're on the internet, like with AI, you have no idea what's real and what's not anymore. And honestly, if you believe everything that you see on the internet, you should probably just check yourself, because there's a lot of stuff on here that isn't. So with that being said, though, I want to give you guys an honest answer here. Everything that we're talking about is real. The income is real. The money that you can make with this is real. The lifestyle is real. The freedom is real. The paying for your hobbies, the paying for your parents, the being able to take your kids out and travel the world, it's all real. Okay, it's 100% possible. And it's not just for us. It's not just for my wife and I. Yes, we are blessed, but we have also worked an extremely long and hard time. But what I want to do is talk about how it's not just us, how we've had a lot of students who have also done this. And so that's what today's video is going to be about. I want to go through every single concern that is here in this comment, because these are legitimate questions. These are real concerns that Holt Sauce is having. And Holt Sauce, I hope you watch this video. I'm going to tag you in the comment and tell you to go watch this once this video is up, because I really do hope that it helps you. So if you're new here, how's it going? My name is Doug, and I'm a homeschooling dad of 5. All of my kids are 9 and under. I live in Southern California, and I run a YouTube-based business with my wife, Haley. And for the past decade, we've been on YouTube, and we've been helping people grow their audience and grow their income by selling products that they own. So if having that freedom lifestyle, time freedom, location freedom, income freedom is something that you guys are interested in without having to give up your family, without having to sacrifice your faith, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the first thing that I want to address, I guess like my first point here is, yes, it is real. Okay, but the thing is that a lot of what you guys see on the internet, like the version that you're seeing, the outcome, the results, that might be overshadowing the fact that a lot of this is real, okay? Because especially like this too good to be true feeling that Holt Sauce is having. So what's not real is the implication that it happened easily, right? Or that it looks the same for everybody, or that people are showing you the results in the full picture in the grand scheme of things. It is the internet. What do you expect? Everybody has like a highlight reel on the internet, right? What you're seeing is the outcome. You're not seeing the 4 different business model failures that came before this. Like for Haley and I, we were doing things like selling digital wall art on Etsy. We were trying Amazon FBA businesses, and our entire Amazon FBA business fell apart. You're not seeing the brand deals that we were trying to work and that we were trying to make happen. All of the income that we had disappear overnight when COVID hit, and 90% of the brands that we were working with ended up backing out all of their marketing. You don't see all the different niches we've tried, the different growth strategies that we've tried, the late nights, the scripting while the kids are sleeping, the filming while the kids are taking naps, waking up before they do, all of the trial and error that happens on YouTube. Like YouTube is a constantly ever-changing game. There's so much trial and error that happens. And so I think that all of this, I know it sounds like a bunch of banter and it sounds like a bunch of complaining, but I can see how all of this not being on the internet sets off the too good to be true sensors, okay? Because the entire picture isn't here. Now, when I tell you that this works, that is completely different than telling you that this is easy, okay? The thing is that when you hear from the like guru bros that are out there. And I try to separate myself from that. Haley and I try our best to show that we're family people, we're Christians, we have morals and values. And I'm not saying a lot of these other guys don't, but when you see the bros and the gurus that are talking about like their Lambos, their private jets, the real sketch wording, they're avoiding specific phrasing or terms, or they're not showing the behind the scenes or how everything works. They don't show you what happens after you join the program. Everything's proprietary or things like that. It's understandable for people to be like, none of this is real. How am I supposed to believe that anybody still buys courses or anybody still does coaching? How do I believe the people that are running ads and the big influencers that are promoting all these things? The thing is that for every like 10 or 15 of these gurus that pop up over here talking about how easy it is, the master resale rights or like the stuff you just post on the internet and you make money, whatever it is. For every like 10 or 15 people that are here, there is a values-based, faith-based family, normal people, regular moms, regular dads, even just regular guys or girls. They don't have to be moms or dads, but we just work with a lot of them. Basic people. Okay, I'm talking like vanilla bean frappuccino, Starbucks type of basic, caramel macchiato type of basic. Just sitting there making actual money, life-changing money with the most basic of topics. Now, before we talk about different examples of this, and I get into the rest of my points on how normal people are actually making money on YouTube, just know that my wife and I work together on this, which means she makes her content on her business channel. I make content on this channel. I also have a firearms channel, which is all about my passion for protecting my family and leveraging firearms to be able to do that. We attract different clientele. Okay. And so Haley's been forward facing in the business a lot longer than I have, and she tends to attract mostly women while I bring in mostly men. So there's going to be a fair share of women in here too. So just for the guys that are coming from my CCW channel, keep that in mind. All right. So someone that I want to talk about that is, I hate saying that she's basic because she's not, but I'm just saying she's not like a Lambo posing, private jet flying, Linus Tech Tips kind of thing. If you guys haven't seen that drama, go check it out. Ashley Buffa is a homeschooling mom of 11. Homeschooling mom of 11. That means the kids don't go somewhere else. They stay at home with her, all 11 of them. All right. She's not a huge influencer. She's not a celebrity. She is just a mom who is passionate about homeschooling and wants other moms to be just as successful and just as passionate about homeschooling as well. Okay. She doesn't have a massive ranch. All right. She does not have some kind of mansion in the woods. She has literally just a single camera. That one of her first videos with us was extremely blurry. So potentially a blurry camera and a mission. All right, that's all she has. She is not, again, a ex-celebrity. She does not have a bunch of money that existed beforehand. She doesn't have all the time in the world. She doesn't have a huge team. It is literally just her and working with us. And her first launch was over $12,000, all while averaging just a few thousand views on her videos, right? So she, I think, would be kind of like the epitome of what is possible. Let's kind of like move to the second point of this video where I actually start to dissect in this comment itself. And so the comment overall kind of is asking like, why isn't everyone doing it? Okay, and the major reason why everyone isn't doing this is because it's harder than people think. It's not impossible, it's just harder than people think. There's two things that make YouTube and making money on YouTube harder than people think. The first one is because they quit before they make it. The second thing is that people are doing YouTube wrong. Okay, so let's talk about quitting first. Now, most people don't actually quit when YouTube is hard, okay? Because the beginning actually is extremely hard. When you're trying to figure out your niche, you're trying to figure out the topics you're going to talk about, you need to figure out your setup, you need to find the time when you have your kids that are running around everywhere, you have all these activities that are happening. That's really the quote unquote hard part, right? People actually get very excited about the hard moments in business. They're kind of motivating, right? It's a new challenge to discover and solve these problems for like this life-changing activity that you're about to partake in. The thing is that in the beginning, it's all hype. Like you're jacked, you're ready to go. You're like just amped, ready to start taking action to finally do something with your life. And this is a lot of people that we work with. And so there's a ton of hype in the beginning. There's a ton of questions. There's a ton of setup. They're showing us things, a lot of reviewing that's happening, a lot of ideas, a lot of storyboards or like brainstorming that's happening. But as they start posting and as time goes on a little bit, people tend to hit this like boring middle section. You get the hype of starting, And then there's the hype of seeing the success, and in between is this like really weird lull and valley. And so this is like you've uploaded 12 videos, you get 30 to 40 views on each one of them, and you're trying to see like, has any of them taken off yet? But nothing is happening. And so this is where most people quit. And it's not necessarily like laziness, it's just human nature. All right. If you don't have the mindset, the right mindset going into this, that you will need to have delayed gratification, then you're never going to breach or break into the growth stage. Us as humans, especially now that we have our smartphones on us at all times, we need dopamine all the time. We need a constant IV, as Haley would say, of dopamine. And when we don't get that dopamine, or if it's too far out of reach, then we tend to like direct ourselves to some other type of form of dopamine activity. And I think it was Healthy Gamer GG that said this, and I forget what his actual name is. I'll put it up on the screen so we guys get it right. But he said something that really blew me away. And it was that, and this is like half of what he was talking about in this episode, but he was saying for some reason, like the human brain or psyche or whatever cannot feel future success now, which means we are no longer willing to go through the pain that it takes to get to that success, because we can actually, for some reason, feel future pain. So when you ask yourself, you're like, oh, am I willing to film like 50 videos? You're like, oh, that sounds terrible. Like I can imagine the like hard work and the frustration now of filming 50 future videos. Like it feels very real to you. But for some reason, if we were like, oh, you'll have $1 million in 12 months, I'm just using this as an example, you can't feel that how nice that would be to have $1 million in the future. It's like some kind of weird switch that the human brain cannot make. Okay, so we cannot feel future success. So what that basically means is that you run out of dopamine by the time you hit success. You're getting all the dopamine in the beginning of making all these changes and writing all these plans out and putting all this stuff into action, but as you start doing it, the dopamine wears off. And so people just don't stick it out enough. Lauren Mefford is a great example of this. Her channel was off to a kind of slow start, right? She was brand new to YouTube. She's never done anything like this before. She had no idea what to expect. She didn't know she had the right gear or equipment. Her second video that she filmed was filmed with the wrong aspect ratio. So it has these black bars on the side of it and it's very blurry. And it took her hours and hours to edit on Descript as she was figuring it out. But she came into it with the right mindset and she knew to trust the process. She had delayed gratification. She kept on posting, knowing that the results will come as long as she does. And so she had a few videos that did okay, but it was right in that boring middle. I think it was around like the 17th video that her channel popped off. And I think it's at like 150,000 views or so, somewhere around there. And this led to her getting a few more viral videos, which then led to her blowing up her email list. And then the dopamine started building, and then the work started setting in. And then eventually she started selling her course, and she was able to make some life-changing money. Now, this would have never happened if Lauren didn't know I need to trust the process. Haley says it as filing papers. You need to file papers. Just sit there, go to your 9 to 5, file, stamp, stamp, stamp. Do the work. And if you do the work and you attach no emotion to it and you just get it done, it can pay off. But it can only pay off if you do the second part. Now, people can sit there and file the papers and do the work and just expect results, but they can never get it. And there's a reason for this. If you just post forever, but you have no strategy behind what you're doing, then you will never see the results. Okay. So this is the second half to the second point, I guess. And it's that most people are doing YouTube wrong. And this is us included. Like, we were doing YouTube wrong for a really long time. When you do it wrong, like, no matter the niche, no matter how often you're posting, no matter the gear, no matter anything else, nothing matters if you're doing YouTube wrong. Okay? It doesn't matter how long or how many times you've posted. We have students that come into the program and they have 250, 300 videos posted and less than 1,000 subscribers, or they average less than 100 or 500 views on a video. So if you don't have the right strategy, if you don't know what you're trying to do, you're just flying blind, it may not ever work out. Everything that you do on YouTube matters. The niche you pick, the topics in that niche, the title, the thumbnail, your hook, the script, the call to action, your on-camera presence, it all actually matters. You cannot just post vlogs randomly. Do Vlogmas. If you know from back in the day. You can't just do that and expect to build an audience. What really happens is the vlogs come later. People want this weird vlogging lifestyle, but what they don't see is that a lot of their favorite creators and their vloggers started with something searchable. They had a strategy in the beginning. I'll say that today it is a little bit easier to go viral with a more obscure title, sure, but the topic itself is still something that is in demand. So you need to have strategy behind what it is that you're doing. The other part of doing YouTube wrong that's here, people are treating YouTube like the business itself instead of being the marketing piece to YouTube. Okay, YouTube is not the place to actually construct your business. You build your business somewhere else. And YouTube is a market for your business. Okay, it's a marketplace. The channel is kind of like the top of the funnel. It is not the bottom of the funnel. It is not the finish line. It is not the end game. It is not the end result. The end game is some kind of product that is your own, right? So we've worked with major influencers that have been on YouTube longer than us that were doing YouTube quote unquote wrong. They were just extremely dependent upon brand deals and affiliates, kind of like we used to be. We were just full-time influencers. Top Ramen brand deals. Haley was in Parents Magazine. We were getting shoes and clothing from like Adidas and Nike, and we were getting all the outdoor patio furniture, and everything in our house was sponsored. We've lived that life. We know what it's like to be dependent on brand deals and affiliates. When those revenue channels can just shut down at any time, you're not building a business for yourself. You're just making money with YouTube. And there's a difference. We know what it's like to be a major channel that is doing YouTube wrong. So when we've worked with people, it's not like she was necessarily doing it wrong. She wanted to just find a way to grow her own products more so. Somebody like Lisa from Farmhouse and Boone, for instance, when we worked with her, she wanted to expand her course income stream. Okay, she had multiple other income streams already. She already had her channel that was big and huge. I cannot take credit at all for growing her channel in any way. She was there to be able to make money leveraging YouTube as a marketing tool. And she already knew that's kind of the way that it was meant to be. She knew that YouTube is the marketing channel and that there's way more to it with her business. So while we helped her to do more than like tens of thousands a month in additional course sales and building out that funnel, she didn't stop there. She used her channel to like launch books and to do other business ventures. And I get it, like Lisa's a unicorn, so I can't always use her as an example because she's been on the internet forever. But we do have other examples of people that have done this. Rebecca Matznick she does fitness on YouTube. She helps moms with fitness. And so she didn't join our program to become an influencer. She joined our program to use YouTube as a marketing channel. Rebecca already had a coaching business set up. She already had clients, but she wanted more. She was done doing Instagram, the Instagram lives, the daily reels, the DMs, always having to like sell and to always be on and do the stories every single day. She wanted to use marketing as a tool to get passive leads. You put up the video once and you continue to grow and you continue to get views on YouTube. That is basically what she did. And you can see that she's almost started her channel from zero with us and she's grown immensely since then. And it's not just her, it's not just in the fitness. I know a lot of people are like, oh, fitness is very popular on YouTube. We could also look at one of our students. Her name's Vakita. Vakita came from TikTok, another short form platform, making like next to no money. And she had an okay following on TikTok. Her TikTok audience was not interested in her YouTube channel at all, but it was not making an actual income for her. So when she joined the program, she moved to YouTube. She used YouTube as the marketing channel to be able to sell her own product. So now not only is she at over 200,000 subs from nearly zero, but she makes consistent sales to her own digital products. So people of all different size channels and all different experience, when they come into this, they understand two things. Again, two core things. One is that it's going to be harder than you think and it's going to take a longer time than you think. So you need to get through the lull in dopamine. But the second thing is that they treat YouTube and their channel like a business asset or a marketing channel and not the business itself. When I go back and I look at Holt Sauce's comment, right, they're like, well, are people too lazy to follow through? Or is it luck-based or something like that? If it's so foolproof, then why isn't everybody doing it? The thing is that it's not foolproof if you don't have those things, right? If you do not have a strategy and you do not have the determination, because that has nothing really to do with laziness. It's just like the mindset. So realistically, if you don't have the mindset and you don't have the strategy, then this business strategy or this business style may not work out. Okay, so going back to the comment again for my third point here, his concern is it luck based? I hear this a lot, right? You guys got lucky. You guys have been blessed. My time is over. My niche is saturated. YouTube is dying now. Courses are dying now. Whatever people are saying here. And it's to no fault to Holt Sauce again. Like, he just needs to get education on the topic that's there. And that's what I'm hopefully trying to do with this video. So Holt Sauce, don't take any of this personally. It's kind of luck based. By kind of, I mean like 1%. Okay. Like, it helps to be right place, right time. It can only help you, but you don't ever need the perfect place, the perfect time. Okay, the timing of when you start, what the algorithm is doing, what's going viral at the time. There can be some luck because a lot of those like might align, and then all of a sudden, like, you have the perfect play for what it is that you want to do, right? For instance, let's talk about my firearms channel. I have a firearms channel that talks about guns and CCW and some other content. YouTube, don't flag me. My first video on that channel went viral, and that wasn't luck. It was strategy. It wasn't just timing, it was strategy. There's a huge demand, and this is what I looked for, okay? I looked for the kind of content I wanted to be able to create. And I saw that there's a huge demand for California concealed carry weapons permit type of content, because in California, California doesn't like firearms a lot. Because of that, there's not a ton of supply, but a lot of demand. And how do I know this? I know this because I saw smaller channels with a smaller number of subscribers getting a lot of views. So what I didn't do was wait for the stars align for the right topic to come through. I picked a trending topic and trending niche that also overlaps with what I am familiar with. Now, if you're like, but Doug, what happens like if my niche or my topic, like, it's not trending? You can always kind of like scale your niche up. You can niche stack. You can expand your total addressable market by adding in something else, or by kind of being a little bit more broad with what you're talking about. So let's say, for instance, if firearms wasn't something that was trending and I still want to do something related around firearms, I might kind of go a level up and go into something like prepping. And so if I can touch on prepping a little bit and then also still be related to firearms, I can essentially expand my niche. That way I'm not sitting in like a non-trending area. I always need to try to tack on to something that is trending or potentially going viral, because we want that boost with the algorithm. So again, it's not luck based. It is strategy based in picking whatever topic it is that you're doing. Back to the comments, having to do with capital, you don't need any capital at all. Okay, this is like the lowest barrier to entry type of business that you can start. You just need a phone and you need something to be able to talk about. All right, I've done Amazon, we've done obviously brand deals and affiliates and everything else. And this is like the absolute lowest barrier to entry. You don't even really need to edit anymore. Like, Descript is an awesome tool that you can use to basically auto edit your entire video. There's really just like nothing that I can think of that's stopping people from wanting to be on YouTube to be able to do this. Do you need any money or capital to start this? No, not at all. Nothing of the sorts. Even if you were to do courses or coaching programs, like, there are ways to be able to do that without spending a ton of money. Do you need experience? You don't need experience in doing YouTube. We have a lot of students that don't have experience doing YouTube that are still getting views. Lauren Meffer is one of them. Ashley Bufa didn't really have any experience doing business type of content, or like sitting down, talking head type of content. We have a lot of students who are brand new to YouTube, who've never done this before, that get a lot of views. What you do need experience in, though, is you need experience in whatever it is that you're talking about. You cannot just like make things up on the fly and make things as you go. As Haley says on her channel, people can smell a rat. Basically, people can tell if you're faking it, you guys. They can tell if you are lying. They can tell if you don't really care. You need to have experience in what you're talking about so you can go off on rants. So you can go in detail on specific topics to be able to show that you've lived what they're trying to go through, that you know exactly what it is that you're feeling. So for instance, like my channel about firearms, I built that from scratch. But I'm not a firearms instructor or anything like that. I'm not some kind of like military or law enforcement veteran expert, but I do have my own experiences and I am very passionate about it. And because of that, I can talk on the topic from my perspective. An example of this, one of our students, her name's Erica. She had a channel. It was called The Home Intent. Now she changed it because she does it with her husband now, but I'll put it on the screen. She is sharing her life experiences in living off grid. She is not necessarily like a survival expert or a prepping expert, but she is sharing her experiences that she knows inside and out because she lives it. That just doesn't mean that your channel needs to be about anything that you just live, right? You don't have to do it every single day, but it helps to know it inside and out. So with some strategy, Erica was able to take her off-grid living, her lifestyle, her everyday life, with some strategy in choosing her topics and doing a lot of work on her titles and thumbnails, her second video went viral, which led to her channel popping off, which led to her getting monetized and making a bunch of money and actually being able to help her husband work less because he worked away from the home for like weeks at a time or something. And now he can be with her, which is something that's amazing. Erica has never done YouTube before. She only did blogging, and she did blogging because she didn't want to have her face like on camera. And now here she is being on YouTube, and she even has a second channel, which I'll link down in the description below too. And so I think I've kind of covered like the main concerns that Holt Sauce has, right? He talks about, are people too lazy to follow through? I mean, I wouldn't say that they're too lazy. They don't get the dopamine hit that they want. They don't have the determination. So I guess you can kind of say it's laziness. Is it luck-based? No. Do you need money? No. Is it foolproof? Absolutely not. It's not foolproof. Okay. The system is, like, our system is foolproof. The people doing the work is not foolproof. And that's a whole nother video for another day. But what I want to talk about to kind of wrap this video up is talking about this sentence where he says, it feels extremely unlikely that my wife and I could also do that. If you guys get anything from this video, this is what I want you guys to get from this. Okay. There's two completely different business models for building an income online. And just most people don't think that there's actually a difference. Okay. Which business model you decide to pick ultimately determines how everything works. All right. It ultimately determines how much money you'll make, how you'll make that money, how much you'll be working, what kind of content you'll be creating, what your kids are seeing you doing. It determines everything. All right. So model one is like the influencer model. You can say influencer, you could say fame, you could say celebrity. You build an audience, you get a ton of views, you try to go viral, you get big enough that brands pay you, you monetize the attention, okay? The attention, the eyeballs on you, you are monetizing the people's attention. That is like the influencer path, okay? That is the grind path. That's the person who is optimizing for viral videos and follower counts and brand deals. Those are the kinds of people that are trying to see what crazy thing it is that they need to do next to make sure that their income or to make sure that their views are at a high enough level so that way the brands are going to pay them the most that they can because it's based off of the average of your last 5 videos. We have lived this influencer lifestyle. Okay, we know that it can make real money. We made great money being able to do this, but your income is always at the mercy of someone else. It's always at the mercy of someone else's budget. It's at the mercy of YouTube's algorithm. It's at the mercy of whether like the content reviewer on YouTube thinks that you should be approved for ads or not. There was a time when Haley was at her peak influencer days and we were just, filming ourselves and filming our family, doing the family vlogging thing. YouTube said, hey, any videos that have kids in it, we're just going to turn off all the comments on it. There's something going on here. We're going to turn off all the comments. And it realistically greatly hurt our engagement on our videos, which then hurt our views, which then hurt our income, all because there was some flagging in the system that happened. So we've seen like 90% of our income disappear overnight. The fame or the influencer model is susceptible to this. And so for most people that are watching this, especially if you have a family, especially if you don't want to have to like quote unquote sell your soul to the algorithm, that's what most people think happens on YouTube, right? You have to be famous, you have to be an influencer, you have to be a celebrity of some sort. So that's what we did for probably half of our time on YouTube. Like half of a decade was being influencers in some way. Now, model 2, or the second business type that I would like to say here is I'd like to call this like the provider model. And I'm totally making up these names, obviously. But you build an audience around something that you know, and then you create something for that audience to buy. Okay, you give them an avenue or some type of method or process to pay you directly for your knowledge and for you to be able to provide them value of some sort. Okay, now this comes in a variety of different ways. To some people, it's coaching. To some people, it's maybe some type of a digital product. To others, it's a course. All of these work, okay? Memberships even, school, could be anything, but they are paying you directly. So whatever product you choose, it serves the audience, right? It serves that viewer. Your income comes from those people choosing to pay you for the value that created, not a brand deciding that your numbers are good enough this month, right? Nobody can take away from you your email list or the product that you're selling. And so this is the provider model, right? You are building an actual business. No algorithm change, no brand polling budgets, no platform policy update that happens. Like you need to create a business for yourself. And that is what this provider model is you're essentially building a business, not just trying to be popular. And this matters for the faith-based family or person that's watching this. The provider model doesn't require you to actually sell your soul for views. It doesn't require you to manufacture drama on screen. Like Haley and I used to have these discussions where on the weekend we were trying to plan out content for the next week or for the next 2 weeks. And we would have to ask ourselves, what can we do this week that is entertaining enough for us to actually vlog about, right? We didn't go as far as to being like, baby stuck in water park, which is always my favorite example to be able to go to, as I saw that vlog, I don't know how many years ago, or the title of that vlog is like baby stuck on water park. You're not manufacturing dumb stuff to try to live an exciting life. But Haley and I did have to find something that was worth vlogging, people watching, right? Did we have to go somewhere? Did we have to go to some type of an event? Did we have to talk about something that was very juicy or something that was very revealing or personal? Did we have to show our kids a certain amount on camera? Did we have to put their faces in the thumbnail? Like, what needed to happen in order for us to get enough views to be paid enough for us to be able to put food on the table that day? And it wasn't up to us and how many views it was worth. It was up to somebody else, right? It was YouTube's RPM, or it was the brand's influencer budget, or maybe it was like a influencer marketing agency that was saying, hey, you need to hit like an average of this many views for your last 5 videos for us to pay you this amount. You didn't, and so we're going to cut your brand budget, your brand deal budget in half, essentially. So the provider model does not require you to be someone you're not on camera. Okay, you just have to know something pretty well and be willing to be able to help out the people who need to know what that thing is too. And you can do all of that without compromising a single thing that you believe. So it's not foolproof. Okay, again, nothing ever really worth it is foolproof, but it's just basic business principles that are being applied to YouTube. So let me try to bring this all the way back to the beginning of the title. How exactly are normal people making money on YouTube in 2026? I'll try to answer this in as few words as I can because I already rambled enough in this video. Okay, the first thing is that they followed a strategy. They didn't just blindly post. They didn't hope that something just sticks. They didn't throw spaghetti at the wall. The people actually making money right now are researching. They're studying what people have already done. They're looking at what people have had success with in their space. They're making intentional decisions about titles and topics and thumbnails before they ever even hit record. Consistency without strategy is just like you praying that something works out. You need both. Now, the second thing that people are doing is that they are picking a topic or they're picking a niche that is like an intersection or a cross or a mix or a Venn diagram overlap of what they know and what people actually want to watch. So let me be clear here with this point, okay? In order to make money on YouTube, you still need views. Virality still matters, okay? You still need to get people to click. You still need the algorithm to work in your favor. But the difference is that you're not going to be chasing virality at all costs. There's a certain level you want to hit, or it depends on how much money you want to make, but you still need to find the overlap of your genuine expertise and what's already getting traction. So that overlap is where real businesses are built, not just trend chasing. You're not just posting things because you think it's fun. Like there's a crossover between the two things. So people who are making money are finding the perfect blend between those two. The third thing that people are doing to actually make money is that they are pointing the channel to something. YouTube is the business marketing tool. Okay, and everyone is pointing something to an action that the viewer can take. It could be an opt-in email, it could be a product, it could be a course, it could be some type of digital offer, it could be coaching, something that somebody can actually buy that the channel creator actually owns. Because ad revenue alone, unless you get millions of views, ad revenue alone is not going to necessarily change your life. Okay, your YouTube channel is top of the funnel marketing strategy. It was never really meant to be the whole business. So for me, for example, if you guys want to know what that call to action is, down in the description below, you can actually go and check out a free training that I have for you guys if you want to know how all of this works. Now, the fourth thing that people who are actually having success, like the normal basic people who are actually having success and making money, the fourth thing that they did is they didn't wait. Okay, they didn't wait until they felt ready. They didn't wait until like the business was fitting in and the kids were out or they had enough time. It's summer now, and so they have the time to be able to do this. They're not homeschooling anymore or whatever it might be. What they did instead was they worked it the other way around. Okay, took action immediately, but built a business that fit into their life, not like their life around the business. I know it sounds like I'm mincing words here, you guys, but I'm not. It is a completely different thing. You are working within the constraints of your everyday life and building something that will work, and whatever, God provides for you based on that work that you're doing, you're stoked with and you're happy with. The goal for us specifically was never to build something so big that it consumed everything. At one point it did. We were making 6 figures a month. And that's a legit number. And it was consuming every fiber of our being. And we didn't really want to have to do that all the time. So we backed it down. And the goal was to build something that works around the kids, that works around our faith-based principles, and around the life that we're actually trying to live. And so the people that are making this work in 2026, they didn't blow up their family to build the business. They built the business so that way they could keep their family. And it's a completely different mindset and starting point. And it changes kind of like every decision that you make from then on out. So those are the 4 things that I would say. That's normal people with real strategies in the right niches. They're selling something that's worth buying. They're creating a business that is serving their life instead of trying to replace it. Now, if you guys want more examples of this, I'll also link our results page, like all of the people that we've worked with, down in the description below. If you guys have questions or comments or concerns and you want to know more about how this works, hold sauce, let me know. Okay, tell me where you're at. What's holding you back? I go through and I read all of my comments here. I read all of them on my firearms channel. I want to know how we can actually help you guys. Okay, so if this was something that provided value to you in some way, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to check out the free training down in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next one.